What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Truth on the Rocks.
Yeah,
All right, let's go.
that's the new thing I see.
Yes,
The snapping thing, right? I'm
Right.
not doing that. I'm not going to
thank
be
you
doing that.
guys so much for joining us today. And before we get started, we definitely need you guys to like our page. We need you to hit that share button and follow us on social media. Our handles are underneath our videos. Okay.
Okay.
And let all your friends know that Truth on the Rocks. We're back and we're live. Okay.
Yeah.
We're live. Okay.
Yeah, we're live, honey.
Also, guys, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section as we are talking and discussing. There may be something that relates to you. So we definitely want to hear what you have to say as well. So don't forget. And my name, by the way, is Nimdia Anderson.
You all already know who this is. I'm Gerald Frank, the Black psychologist. Let's go.
And my name is Maurice Griffin. And before we get into our iced tea topics, Renata is not here today because she had a family emergency. So we are just sending our thoughts and prayers to Renata and her family.
Thank you,
Renata, we love you. We love you guys.
We love you, babes.
For sure.
Yes. Now, and also before we get into the iced tea topics, what are we having on the rocks tonight? I'll start. I'm having a little gin and well, it's supposed to be gin and tonic, but I didn't have any. So it's a little ginger ale. So excuse me for improvising. Okay.
You got ginger ale and tonic?
Yeah, it's I mean, tastes fine to me.
Oh.
It's a little heavy on the top. It's a little heavy on the gin.
That's with some gin. Well, I have Ciroc and seltzer. It's one of my favorites. Peach Ciroc with seltzer.
Excellent. I'm playing it conservative today, guys. I'm just having seltzer. That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's cheating. That's not playing it. So that's not playing the game. That's cheating.
Not living in your truth on the rocks.
That's it.
There you go.
Out on it.
It will be my truth today.
Oh,
tomorrow might be something different.
Shots fired.
Right.
Well, don't fire the shots too fast. All right, so let's get into the iced tea topics. Something that resonated with me over the week or the past couple of days is this story here. According to TMZ, rapper Cardi B took the stand last Thursday in a federal case, explaining to a judge and jury that she wanted to take her own life after blogger Tasha K made allegations about her personal and sexual life back in 2018. Cardi B is suing Tasha K for allegedly defaming her in multiple videos where she made disturbing claims that Cardi was a prostitute, contracted various STDs, and fucked herself with beer bottles on stripper stages. I mean, that's a lot. That really.
I mean, I've seen it. So.
That's a lot.
Okay. I got some follow-up.
Cardi, but I've seen it happen.
Right. Well, of course, Cardi B denies all these claims, and she stated, "I felt defeated and depressed, and I didn't want to sleep with my husband." She also experienced being fatigued, anxiety, weight loss, and migraines. And as a result of these videos, she decided to seek help from therapy. And according to Billboard, Tasha K admitted that she knowingly published rumors about Cardi B in order to raise money for her business. Now, that's a mouthful, and that's a lot right there.
That's a lot.
That's a lot right there. You know, of course we know because sometimes when you're a celebrity, rumors and lies comes with the territory. But unfortunately, we see this takes place a lot with Black women. And this is something we discussed. I feel like we talked about this like during some of our pre-production meetings. Like, why is it so profitable to trash and humiliate Black women? You know, Nimdia is only right to start with you since you're the only female on the panel today.
But am I? Am I the only female?
Oh yeah, honey, you are. Don't let us check between our legs to find out.
Am I the female? Okay, all right. Oh man, okay. Like you said, this kind of comes with the territory. Do I really feel like it's limited to Black women? No, I do not. I think it has everything to do with being a celebrity and being in the spotlight. It's about who's the pick of the week and who are we about to take down this week. I don't really feel like it has a lot to do with being a Black woman, and I could be wrong, but that's from my perspective. However, Tasha K, this is what she does. I'm surprised that she admitted that she did this so that she could gain finances for her business, and the fact that she wasn't penalized for that, because when we're here, don't we have to say allegedly if it's not true? So how do you get to build a whole entire frenzy over a complete lie, and you admit it, and this young lady's life was affected by it in a negative way, so much so that she took it to court. Now, it had to bother her if she took it to court, because most times they take it, they lay down, they roll over, they're like, all right, it comes with the job. But for her to be mentally affected, not to be able to sleep with her husband, that might have been an excuse, but
Okay, now.
I ain't the one to gossip, but for her to really have an emotional breakdown over this, I think that Tasha K should be penalized by a judge, the jury, and the executioner for that one.
Okay, interesting, Gerald.
I mean, it's interesting because I see classic bullying in this particular situation, right? And adults do bully other adults, and though I see these things happening a lot of times in school situations, but adults do go through these type of situations. There's an imbalance of power in this particular situation where one person has influence over a mass of other people and is using her platform to degrade and to defame someone else, and the things that were being said were not even true, right? Or maybe half truths, right? But what as far as the question that Maurice asked, I do feel like it seems to be very prominent among the African American community, where we've made shows, where we've made a lot of people profit off of drama, and it seems to create this narrative that African American women are violent and they're volatile again towards one another. And I think that they are profiting from this narrative, but we have the power to change that narrative and choose our behavior in these type of situations.
That's interesting. And I just want to point out, Jason, Chong, we see you out there, so thank you so much for watching. I'm more leaning on the side with Gerald here. I feel like Black women are attacked a little more in mainstream here. For example, you have Vice President Kamala Harris. It's been reports that there's like trouble in her camp, and is she also and I think it's possible she's being portrayed as like a micromanager, and even like sort of like an angry Black woman. Like you see stuff like that on all type of like different outlets and things. So I do think that Black women sometimes get a harder. They are covered harder, or the coverage is harder on them than like other female counterparts of other ethnicities. So it's rough for them, but however, this does come with the territory. So, it kind of is what it is. And it's interesting to see another Black woman tearing down another Black woman. You're right. So this is not like, what's the Harvey Levine, I think, or whatever his name is with TMZ. It's not him tearing him down, or it's not like Kelly Ripa tearing down, Cardi B. Is coming from a Black woman. Right. Why are Black women so hard on each other sometimes?
Doesn't this sort of speak to culturally with Black people, the crab in the barrel sort of narrative, that when one is coming up, the other one is trying to pull the other person down? I think we're saying just women, but when I go to our culture as Black people, it's kind of the narrative that we kind of tear each other down. Anyway, first of all, we do it for fun. If you grew up in the hood, you tear each other down for fun. Right. We are taught that from childhood. It's how you get your credibility on whether you're quick-witted, sharp-tongued, able to handle yourself. If you're tough, this is how we sharpen iron. This is how iron sharpens iron. So culturally, it's actually not looked at as a negative or bad thing in how we grow up. So naturally, what may be perceived by society and other cultures that we are tearing each other down, or maybe even from us because now we're adults and we're looking at it differently, this is embedded in us. We grew up this way. Your mama jokes, where did that come from? That came from us. And you had to be tough enough not end up crying and handle it and be able to come back. So I think that we kind of just didn't grow out of it, and we just took it into another phase of our lives, which is adulthood. And now we're doing it to each other in front of people. It's just like getting in a fight with your family member. But once you do it in front of people, it's a problem. It's bigger because now you're open to the opinion of other people. And I think that's what applies more pressure on making you feel like what you're doing is wrong. Some of it, to me, maybe that's why I don't feel like it's just a Black woman thing, that this is cultural for us. It's like normal. When I look at it, I'm not like, oh my God. I'm like, well, I got an aunt that, I got an uncle who does, sounds relative to me, so.
But doesn't that depend on like the spirit is done in? Like, okay, for example, we all joke and play with each other. I was just dragging them the other day, so like, but all like, right. But I feel like if I cross the line, I'm willing to apologize. So I feel like it depends on the spirit that you do it, and then the intention behind it. Like, I feel like when I say something, I'm not trying to like destroy people. Well, not all the time.
Yeah, think about that.
Well, it depends on what you do to me, because sometimes I got to defend myself. Because everywhere I go, somebody wants to bother me. But anyway,
God.
That's not true. No. That's not true.
Nope. He come out swinging, and then he plays the victim. He is king of it.
That's my trick, huh? Right.
Yes.
And one last question about this is like, well, how do you guys handle like rumors and falsehoods about yourself that's not necessarily true? Gerald, I guess,
yeah, I mean, when it comes to those type of situations, right? You think about mindset, right? So the question that I ask myself is it true? Number one, is it true? Number two, is it something that I can control? And usually you cannot control other people's opinions of you. You can't control any of those things. So as a result of that, my way of dealing with it is really just to ignore. We live in a I call it the clapback society. We live in a clapback society where it's like someone says something to you and I'm going to clap back, and then that person claps back. But for me, I think for my own mental health, I just ignore all of that, because number one, it's not true. Number two, right? I can't control what someone else's opinion is of me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
so this actually recently happened to me, like really recent, like maybe a month or two ago, that with my grown ass minding my business, I said, y'all know I talk a lot of crap all the time. And
true.
Y'all know me, right? So y'all know to take the things that I say, just that's Nadia, or with a grain of salt, right? For someone else to hear something that I said and they took it upon themselves to create a narrative behind what I said, and then told someone else, oh, I think this is this. And for me to hear this as like a full-blown adult, my mind was blown. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, I can't believe I had somebody in my space who would do something like that. And I was upset because it was a complete lie. It was a complete misuse of my words, and it was a complete lie. And it was told to other people. And I didn't feel that I had to defend myself, because I knew clearly it was not true. But at the same time, I wanted to punch that person in their face, because I'm like, I'm over here just minding my business. I'm somebody's mother and I'm somebody's wife at the end of the day. And I am a woman. You cannot just, talk about me in this way. And I'm not a celebrity. All right. So you don't get to just talk about me as you will. But for me, I was offended. And if I probably had the opportunity, it could have gotten real, because I was very upset. And even though it was a bold-faced lie, but that's what made it worse for me.
I'm just still waiting for your name drop.
That's nobody you guys know.
I want the ice tea. I want the ice tea.
No, they would be getting too much rhythm. That person was cut off immediately. Their whole bloodline. I called the whole family. One call. All right, I ain't messing with none of y'all.
Wow.
Related.
Okay. All right.
The entire bloodline. I hear you.
The whole bloodline. I'm not even joking.
All right. Well, that's it with me. That's it.
Well, listen. I love this. I was so excited to bring this one up. Very, very excited. Listen, this week, the Hot Boys went up 1,000 points because of one simple ingredient. hot sauce.
What? The man got
Let's go.
He
Hot
got
sauce.
Not the prop.
Listen, hot sauce.
okay.
Listen,
Oh
this
my
happened
goodness.
when the Champagne Pappy, the certified lover boy, my guy,
Happy.
Drake.
Yes! Gerald
Right.
did his homework this week.
Somebody did their homework.
He had consensual, and I repeat, consensual sexual relations with an unidentified IG.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Right? And he put a few droplets of hot sauce in the condom.
Oh,
Right? Miss, she thinks she's slick because that's what I'm gonna call her, right? Fished out the condom out the trash and poured a concoction into her lady parts in an attempt to secure the bag for 18 years, right? However, it was reported that when Miss She Thinks She's Slick began to feel the fire in the hole, fire in the hole, right? She complained in agony, and that's when the certified lover boy admitted to putting hot sauce in the condoms. So these are Frank's, right? Y'all know what the slogan for Frank's hot sauce is?
No,
No?
so good.
I put that shit on anything. So he must have used this.
Sounds right. I guess so.
Y'all didn't know that?
Wow, no, I don't eat
I
hot
never heard that
sauce.
before.
I don't eat hot sauce.
You don't eat hot sauce?
No.
No,
Well, it's Frank's. You pour that shit on anything. Let's go.
Gerald, somebody, Sean Larnell said, come through with the props, Gerald.
That's right.
Props,
The
girl.
audience is impressed. I myself, I'm impressed too.
Bro, is this a suable offense or is his behavior justified?
What I don't understand is sue. What can she sue about?
Well, she's suing because of bodily harm.
Because
That was I guess would be caused by him because he did something.
No.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
Well,
I don't think she has a right to sue him for that. First of all, you were trying to steal babies. Should we take you up on kidnapping charges? Let's just start there. And now you got a real hot girl talking about, and you want to sue Drake over this is ridiculous. I call foul on the play.
But let's be serious here. I mean, who wouldn't like try to get up? But this is an opportunity. Now, this is a come up. You have sex with Drake, and you can have his baby. This is a come up. The girl in Russia got away with it. Why can't she?
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
that's on her integrity. That's on her integrity.
Clear your throat, honey. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what happened over there. It might be maybe she does. Or for what is the question?
You see? And then when I come for his whole soul, he gonna be like, you always bother with me.
I'm just saying what the other people were saying when you started coughing. That's
okay.
It.
Hilarious. But listen, Drake needs to flush that thing. Guys, fellas, please. You need to flush that thing. Tying it up is not enough. You need to flush that thing down the toilet, right? So that no one can untie it and try to pour that thing inside of herself. Because science says, right, that a woman can get pregnant by pouring that sperm from the condom into herself. In addition to that, sperm can also live near or close to the vagina area, right? And the woman could also get pregnant by that as well. Right, so we gotta be careful. Catch that thing in the claw, rub that cloth up,
Lord,
tie that up, flush that thing in the toilet.
Mercy.
Keep it moving.
What hot boys summer? First of all,
Hot boys, 1,000 points up.
First of all, as a homeowner, thinking about a condom going in my toilet system, I'm just thinking about the bill that could potentially come with all the stuff clogging up around that.
It wasn't a hotel.
Look, I don't want my kids. I don't want my sons to hear this part. Right? Don't throw that shit in my toilet. All right? Put it in the bag. Give it to me. Don't put it in my toilet. But
wow.
That's one thing. And as far as sperm being like in random areas, what this is too much. It's too much. It's too much. Because I didn't have these. I just looked at and I ended up, I didn't have to go through all of these. I didn't have to go through all of this. A lot. This is extreme for somebody to be trying to get pregnant, but I get it. But it's not something that I would do. It's just, it ain't never been that serious.
It's serious for some people.
Serious for millions of people. This is a major come up. A major if I could get pregnant by Drake, I would. Let's be real. It's like rich, broke. Rich, broke. You know, by any means necessary, I'm trying to come up. So, child. But Drake has been in this game for years. So he knows the trick of like avoiding situations like this. And I'm sure this is not his first time using hot sauce, soy sauce, duck sauce, any kind of sauce he get his hands on to mess up that whole sperm thing. I'm sure it's not his first time doing that.
Absolutely.
But good for him. I mean, you know, he's looking out for himself. You know, it's like I'm not trying to have a million kids. He's not trying to be futured.
That's right. That's right.
How about you
He's
just
trying to be a future
chicks?
Yeah. So
because
Drake, your behavior is justified. It is justified. Hot Boys won 1,000 points. Your behavior is justified. And guys, make sure you take your hot sauce with you when you go on these dates with these women. Take it.
Look, I'm about to tell my sons to do that too. Look.
Take the strength, right? You pour that on anything.
Listen, Linda. Listen. All right. So the hot boys are up, but honey, Jada Pinkett's grandmama is up. I know this is a story from before, but Jada Pinkett's grandmother, Jada Pinkett, and this ain't alleged because she said it out her own mouth, right? That her grandmother had taught her at the age of 9 how to pleasure herself because it was important for her to know that the pleasure wasn't coming from a man, it was coming from herself. Mind blown. I don't understand. It doesn't even make sense. And then to follow that up, I think it was Jim Jones who ended up, his mama taught him how to kiss by tongue kissing him. Allegedly.
I like Jim Jones.
He's alleged. He totally said it with his mouth, though. But okay. Allegedly. And inevitably, you're having this effect on the generation. So Fabio is out here sleeping with his sister. The message is becoming confused. Everybody is doing all sorts of things, and these things are crazy. So as much as I really want to judge, right? I feel like the way that I had to have the conversation about sex with my kids was not as orthodox as most people would. And no, I did not kiss my kids. Okay, I didn't show them how to pleasure themselves.
Okay.
But, so let me just give a little bit of backstory.
Okay, please give us.
So I was watching a Lisa Ling show. She does like this show. I don't remember the name of it. And she was talking about how children are addicted to porn. And I was like, what? Completely didn't cross my mind. So I literally got all of my youngins, it was the young ones, together. And I said, well, which one of y'all are watching porn? And how much of it are y'all watching? And honestly, because of the relationship that I had with them, they were forthtelling. And I was so surprised and shocked. And I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about everything right now. So we talked about everything, things that I never, ever want to talk about with my kids. But I had to use, all the rawness that I had and have those real tough, hard. The conversation probably was tougher for me, but maybe for my other son too. He seemed a little weirded out, but I had to have it. So for me, it's with you guys. How do you feel? Did you have to have conversations with your kids, or how was the conversation had with you? Because I know, Maurice, you don't have children. So let's start with you. How did that go about? Look,
who wants to get in my business first? Okay,
your business.
How old were your children when you had this conversation?
So I believe my daughter was 11 or 12, and the brothers were 13, 14. So it was the age where these kids have been addicted, not mine, but the kids I was listening about, since they were like 9 and 10, and like, what? Addicted?
Well,
yeah. So go ahead, let us know.
I'm here really thinking hard, and I don't remember.
Selective memory, I see.
No, not selective. Just I don't ever remember my mother having a conversation with me about sex. I remember my uncle. So I'm the oldest nephew to. I have 7 uncles. My grandparents had like 11 children, so I think it's 7 or 8. Anyway. So I remember my uncles saying stuff to me. And like one of my uncles gave me a condom, and he said, "I'm gonna give this to you, and I'm gonna put this in your wallet, and then like a couple of years from now, I'm gonna ask you what you did with this wallet. What you did with this condom."
Goodness.
That never happened. I mean, he never came back to me and asked me anything. I guess he figured out along the way I wasn't using it. So I never saw a conversation about sex. Do I want to say this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I feel like, okay, I grew up with my cousins playing house. So, you know, there was like mommy and daddy and like humping going on, but like not like being molested or whatever, but like, you know, like we hump. So like drive and stuff like that. My cousins might be like, you still I know we're not the only one that do it. Like, you know, we're not the only one that that's just what you do. You just like, you know, copycat what you see. So we played house and like stuff like that. I feel like that was kind of like my exposure, like the beginning of me thinking about that. And I guess my uncles, you know, I lived in a house with, I think I lived with all my uncles at one point in time. And, you know, just not being that difference in age just not being a big difference with us. Yes, they talked about porn and there were tapes. So I think I was sneaking in their room and watch porn. So I think just stuff I just learned on my own, but I don't ever remember having like an official conversation. You know, I grew up in church. So everything was about like God and school and like I wasn't playing outside. So, you know, it was like almost sort of like a false reality that I kind of feel like let me not say that. I grew up in a bubble and that conversation wasn't included in the bubble.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, my experience is similar in the sense of I didn't have a conversation with my parents, my mom about sex at all, right? It was a very taboo topic. It was a very taboo thing growing up in a conservative household. Matter of fact, my mom said to me, she said, the Holy Spirit will teach you.
Now that's new. I never heard that one.
She said the Holy Spirit will teach you about that. So I was waiting on the Holy Spirit for such a long time. I said, listen, this Holy Spirit ain't coming. He ain't telling me nothing. He telling me nothing. So one of my boys passed me a DVD, or at the time it was a VHS, and that's how I learned. And I read stuff too. Like I went to the library, the encyclopedia at the time.
What?
And you slip through, you find stuff, you read stuff.
That's
you know, that's what it was. It was the Holy Spirit declining to teach me, and I just had to find it on my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why didn't our parents talk to us about this stuff?
You know, because I feel like they didn't want us to do it. They didn't want us to do it. I think that in their minds they felt like if I tell Gerald about sex, he's going to go have it, and they were right. Because they told me.
What was the opposite?
I'm sorry. Whether they had told me or not, I was going to do it anyway. So if they told me, then I would have been able to do it the right way.
Yes.
And I would have been able to do
information.
Absolutely. I would have had the right information, right? I wouldn't have put the condom on backwards, right? And things like that, right? If they had spoke to me and told me about the right way of doing things.
Well, Gerald, do you think you would have this conversation with your children since Nimdia did it with hers?
Absolutely. I think what Nimdia did was excellent in the fact of providing a safe space and a safe platform for everybody to be open and honest about what's going on. And when it comes to parenting, that level of transparency will work wonders, and it will take them through the long run. So when Nimdia's kids are in their 20s, they're going to be asking her questions. They're going to be, because she provided a platform from since they were young to have those kind of conversations. My son is 11 and he's already asking me questions. And I told him, I said, Joseph, any question you ask me, I'm going to answer you. And I'm going to tell you the right thing, the right way. I may say I'll give you a little snippet now. And as you get older, you will learn more. But I'm going to answer every question. I'm not going to say, listen, go back to your room. You're not supposed to be talking about that.
Yeah.
Where you learn that from? Go pray. Read your Bible.
So he's asking about sex, or is it like how to deal with feelings with being attracted to people?
I think right now at 11, he's more so dealing with attractiveness and you know, he's not asking specific questions about sex, but he's talking about being attracted to women and the feelings that comes with that, and you know, what is, you know, some of the ingredients of a healthy relationship with people, with women and different things like that. So that's where he's at now. But providing that safe space,
it's why my son has a girl downstairs right now. But you know,
let's get into that.
The doors are open, right? I open the door. I have to have this level of trust.
Yes.
Provide a safe space and the level of trust. And I did like overreact to a situation before. And oh my God, I overreacted. As much as I feel like I'm open about things, I literally overreacted. I freaked out. I just didn't expect it. And then I had to go back and regroup. And then I had to go back and apologize. It took me like a week or two to apologize and then say, you know what, I'm really sorry that I responded that way, because that's not how I want you to feel about sex, period. I want you to know sex is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful freaking thing. It's only become taboo through religion. Okay. That's a whole other topic. And parents don't want to envision their children doing it. Why? We all have these emotions and feelings. So the better they understand these feelings and emotions, the better they can handle it in the future and make wise decisions. And so I said all that to say, I don't want my kids to have sex.
Well, I'm sure. I have a question for Nim about, like, you have daughters as well, right?
Yes.
How is it different speaking to your daughters, because you had your experiences growing up?
Yes.
Is there a difference in speaking to your girls than as far as speaking to your girls about sex, you know, in speaking to your boys, as far as speaking to your boys? Is there a difference as far as approach, advice, you know?
No, I think I give them the same advice. And I think like so gratefully, both of my daughters waited until they were like legal age to do it. Thank the Lord. And they never had a reason to lie. I've been open with them about this, but I was like, tell me when you do it so I can know, so I can say. And my daughter was like, yeah, no, not going to do that. So I found out like 2 months later and I was like, you didn't tell me. I feel so bad. She was like, it's not about you, Mom. Like, relax. And I was like, okay. But I asked her all the things that I would want to know, like how did you handle it? Did you use protection? Blah, blah, blah. As long as everything was a yes, you know, they make sure they take their birth control. It's like, there's nothing I could really do because they were older when it happened. Yeah. It didn't happen in the younger years. For me, with my boys, well, I don't know, because I have a young girl too. So I think I'm going to be crazy with all of them. But my boys, I think about Drake situations, scams. I think about girls saying, I told him no. So it's a little more scary for me when I think about my boys, because I know how girls are. So I'm a little harder on them, but I know that that's a fear. And I have to just show them that I'm going to trust you. I'm giving you the information. And just to feel like you can come to me if you think you effed up or did something wrong. You know what I mean? I just try to leave the lines open. I just want them to trust me. I want to be their best friend. I want to be the person that they get scared and they run to. And so that means I got to check them deal on a regular basis and not be mom, but be a friend so we can have that trust. So
yeah, I agree. And I just want to just acknowledge some of the viewers here. You had Alex Frank. She was supporting you guys. All right. Come on, Alex, come through. She said, speak that truth. And she said, kudos to Nadia for, you know, doing what it is that you had to do with your children. We also had someone else said, Yehoshiba Armstrong. I hope I pronounced that name right. Forgive me.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thank you. This person said, I had the conversation with my children young as well. For that reason, they're going to do it anyway. Let me make sure they do it the right way. So thank you for your comments. We appreciate that. So these parents are on the same side as you guys.
Yeah.
So
100%. All right, are we good with that? Because I got something special. I got something real special.
God. What you got? What other props do you have over there?
I got all my props going on. I'm cooking stuff up, right? So we're going to introduce a new segment on the show called "The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth." So help you God.
Help us,
you God.
Help us, Holy Ghost.
Bring God into this.
Right? And this segment is where I will ask my co-host and you at home a personal question that many of you may not know the answer to. and you have to keep it real and answer with the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You all ready?
All right.
You all ready? All right. So this is the question. This is the question for this week. All right. So we're talking about ditch dating, right? Have you ever ditched or ghosted, right, a date before? What was the situation, right, that you ditched or ghosted this date? And what story did you use to ditch this date? Have you ever ditched a date before? What was the situation and what story did you use to ditch the date?
Okay, I've never ditched a date per se, but like you said, I did ghost. I ghosted a couple of people, but one that stands out to me in particular is I went out with this guy and he was supposed to like get some money or something from somewhere, not to like pay me or anything, but you know, he was supposed to get money from somewhere, like a lawsuit. It was like the day, and I happened to be with him, and it did not work out. And he was irate. He was so angry. He was like throwing his phone and just like angry. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I can't be seen with this person. And he just was like, I'm so sorry for the way I'm acting. And I was like, it's okay. I understand. No, it's totally fine. I can see why you're angry. Yeah. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, when I get on this train, he's never going to see me again. Ever. Ever. And I got on that train and I just had this deep sigh of relief, like, dodge that bullet. And then he's texting me and calling me, and I'm like not responding. I refuse. And I was like, and back then we didn't have block on the phone. So that was the end of that. I don't know where he is today.
Did he try to contact you at all after that?
No, just that like a couple of days, and then he realized it was. You know what? Wait, he did get to me at some point, and I had like a picture of him with his daughter, because she was, I don't know, I had the picture, and he was like, oh, I just want my picture back. And I'm like, well, I'll mail it. And I mailed him the picture, and that was the end of that.
Okay. Well, you got to end by saying, and this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
And this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help you God.
Help me God.
Go ahead, Maurice. Let me hear your story.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
You do not get to plead the fifth.
All right. Do I want to do this? I said I would never tell this story to anyone. There are a few things I just. Not because it was so bad, but just because of what I said to get out of it. It was somebody who I was like talking to who lived far at this time, and I was supposed to hang out with him, but I didn't want to go. I wanted to go, but I just felt I felt like I shouldn't, because it just wasn't the best match. So I didn't want to say that, or I didn't want to say, or I couldn't make it because, you know, he just had like an attitude problem. So I was like, well, I can't make it because he's like, oh, you always do this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first, number one, no, I do not. Number two, you do not live in New York. Number three, my stepfather had a stroke, and it was a lie. So I just felt like, what kind of person would tell that kind of lie? And I was like, I was embarrassed about that. So I was just like, I can't tell anybody that.
You said that your stepfather had a stroke?
That was good.
I did. He did not. So that's why I felt bad, because it was a lie.
But did he have after? No?
Huh?
He never had one after, right?
No, thank God. This is why I feel so bad about this.
All right, so no problem. You didn't have one after.
Thank you, Alex. Alex is in the comments saying that is so bad. You're making me feel worse, Alex.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You did what you had to do. You had to use what you got to get what you want.
You had to get out.
All right.
You had to use what you got to get what you. Well, okay. I mean, I didn't have it anyway. It was. I said I would never tell that story, but here I am. So that's the whole truth. What is it again?
The truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God.
That's right.
That's wait, but what about you, Gerald? What about you?
No, I'm asking the questions here. I'm not.
No. You're on the panel too.
I'm asking the questions here.
No. You're on the panel. No. You don't get in our business, and we don't get in yours.
Man. So this was a situation. This is a situation.
That's right. There you go with your game.
Situation where went on with someone, and I went out with someone, and the young lady's breath was kicking.
Oh, like Van Dam.
Kicking, right? I think there was something that was wrong. So I said, you know what? Maybe this is a situation where, might be an off day. So I ordered 2 shots of Patron, right? Because I'm thinking, you get the alcohol, you shake it up a little bit, it might work a little bit. You take a little sip.
Oh my God.
Things might work, but it didn't work. It didn't work out at all. So it was to a point, and I think that I'm a pretty decent guy when it comes to stuff like that. I try to finish a date, but it really wasn't working out. It really wasn't working out. So I am the king of like fake phone calls, right? So it was more like I picked up my phone, and I said, hello. I said, you serious? So here's the thing. The trick is that you got to get the accent in there, because that's what makes it real, right? You serious? Nah, he said, nah. Yo, wait, where you say it is? Where you say it is? Nah, bro, nah. Nah. I had to take this. No, for real? All right, I'm coming right now.
Oh.
Well, pretty much I told her that my boy was in jail. He got locked up, and he needed me to come and pretty much bail him out. And she was like, okay, I understand different things like that. And I left.
Oh my God. That was a great story.
Yeah.
Gerald said, I think something else was wrong.
Yeah.
You think she was sucking on hot sauce?
Yeah. That is funny.
And that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Oh, that was great.
Well, just so you had Sean Larnell. He said liquor and bad breath.
It made it. Sean is right, because it made it worse. It really made it worse.
Right.
It made it worse, even after the shot of Patron. It made it worse.
How do you don't tell? So I know we're supposed to be moving on, but you don't tell somebody that, because I don't know if I can grin and bear it.
What do you say?
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
No, none of my business.
Oh God. Okay.
Let your friends tell you that your breath stink.
Oh God, that was great.
So, well, before we go, we definitely wanted to honor 2 iconic figures. The first is the one and only Sidney Poitier, who passed away at the age of 94 on January 6th of this year. He was an unparalleled actor, committed activist, beloved family member, author, and some even considered him to be a trailblazing heartthrob, literally tall, dark, and handsome. Sidney Poitier's legacy speaks for itself. He became the first Black actor to win the Academy Award for Best Actor for Lilies of the Field, brought more diversity to Hollywood, and paved the way for Black actors by being the first actor to star in mainstream movies that depicted a Black man in a non-stereotypical way. Vanity Fair held him as the Martin Luther King of movies. Some of his accumulated awards include a Grammy Award, 2 Golden Globe Awards, a British Academy Film Award, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Kennedy Center Honor, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom for President Barack Obama. Although this giant is no longer with us, we stand tall on his shoulders from the work he's done and the barriers he's broken. And I just want to leave you guys with 2 quotes known by Sidney Poitier that I believe is relevant to the premise of this show. And they are, I am the me I choose to be, and I think the way I want to think, I live the way I want to live. So thank you to the great Sidney Poitier for living in your truth, so we here at Truth on the Rocks can live in our truth.
I love that. And we also want to pay homage to Martin Luther King, the King himself. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was, let me see, when did this go down? 1983? That we have spent remembering, honoring his contribution to this planet. I'm sorry, that totally went off my screen. Look, I'm giving y'all Truth on the Rocks, all right? So at age 33, he was pressing the case of civil rights with President John Kennedy at 34. He galvanized the nation with his I Have a Dream speech. And at 35, he became the youngest man to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And at 39, sadly, he was assassinated. But he left a legacy of hope and inspiration that continues today. It was his foresight and his dream that allows us to be before you today and in spaces where we were once never even accepted. So happy birthday, Martin Luther King.
Happy birthday, Martin Luther King.
Happy birthday.
Absolutely one of my favorite people in the world, Dr. King. One of my favorite quotes, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King is definitely one of an icon and has led the way so that we can be here and speak our truth as well. All right, so thank you so much for joining us once again for another episode of Truth on the Rocks. Please remember to like, follow our social media pages, share the show with all your friends and today's topics, and we'll be back for another fresh episode when? Sunday, January 30th at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
we'll be right here. So let's raise our glasses for another successful episode of Truth on the Rocks.
Yes,
and remember, when the truth gets too difficult, just have it on
the rocks, baby.
Yes.
Don't forget your hot sauce, fellas.
Excuse me, you've been showing them too much. They're not a sponsor for this show.
Exactly.
Put
Hot
it
sauce, hot
on
breath.
everything.
They're not a sponsor for this show. And just thank you all for watching. Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.